Okay. She did ask you that question specifically. Would you have told her about the person that you refer to as Elvis?
I'd need to listen to the recording first.
Okay. We'll listen to the recording. But so what you're saying is that it is coincidence that the person who assisted you with opening these dockets in Orlando is also a person who is from crime intelligence, a friend of General Khan, the handler of Mr. Brown Magotsi, who has an association with Minister Mchunu, who you complained to the very next day about your missing dockets.
I am low-key surprised by some of it. Not that much surprises me about the SAPS these days. I have no association with General Khan. I've seen him at a dinner that was organized for Imtiaz Suleiman. I don't know where I fit into all of that. My relationship with Elvis is based on a WhatsApp contact that I was sent by my person. Whether they knew each other, whether General Lincoln knew General Khan on a personal level, I don't know. He spoke of General Khan on and off. I've got nothing to do with any of that.
So, if I understand it, General Lincoln, who was a retired general at the time, had so much knowledge about what was happening within crime intelligence that he was feeding you this information.
I would say yes.
Okay. And do you know where he got the information from?
Ma'am, if only yes, that man knew so much about SAPS, about the underworld. I mean, it was his job. He was the head of the AGU. There was literally nothing you could ask him that he couldn't answer you on in these terms. If you mentioned a policeman to Andre Lincoln, he'd tell you that's a good guy. Nope, don't bother with that one. He was in terms of SAPS, he was a walking encyclopedia. That's why when he told me the dockets have been intercepted and it shouldn't have happened, I believed him without questioning him.
You said something earlier that he introduced you to Mr. Magotsi on the phone.
Yes, ma'am.
When you were at his place. And he introduced Mr. Magotsi as someone who is close to the minister. And as you were sitting there now, you said, now you know it was a lie, that Mr. Magotsi is a friend of the minister.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Which means when General Lincoln told you that Mr. Magotsi is a friend of the minister, that was not correct. What General Lincoln told you was in fact not a fact.
I understand.
According to you.
Sorry. I understand that was wrong.
Okay.
And if I may, I do not think that General Lincoln lied. I think Brown Magotsi misrepresented himself.
No. Let's not go there.
Sorry.
General Lincoln is not here to tell us about that telephone conversation, and I don't want us to speculate about Magotsi. That's not the point of what I want to raise with you. Yesterday we went through the investigation diary, and it was shown to you that if you were told that your docket has been removed and is not being worked on, that is not correct, because on the very day that you laid your charge, there are notes that shows that someone was working on the docket, and I think you fairly accepted that that's what that docket indicated. Here's my proposition to you for your comment, that therefore, when General Lincoln, and if he did, say to you, your docket has disappeared on that day already, when you laid a charge, that could not have been correct. He was mistaken about it, because we saw from the diary, at best he was mistaken. Two, he was misinforming you, because on the face of the diary, we do see entries that indicate that on the very day, and the 31st, in fact, work was happening on that docket. On that docket, would you be prepared to accept that? He may have been mistaken. He's not here to explain himself.
Or three, you are not telling us the truth about him having told you this at all.
Where do I start?
Answer all of them.
I'm going to grudgingly accept that my friend may have been wrong. And even as I say that, in the back of my head, I'm wondering if he was wrong. But before this commission and before what's placed in front of me, I have to accept your point. And to you, our chairperson, I'm not lying.
You see, the great problem, and I'm sure that's what Ms. Seegers is leading up to, the problem is there appears to have been unseemly haste about all of this. You've just laid a charge. You immediately rush off to Johannesburg to lay the same charges. There was just unseemly haste, as if there was something behind all of this. But you may comment if you want to.
Yes, Chair, I will. On the issues of policing and the safety of my community, there's never enough haste. There's never enough haste. That is why I respond immediately.
Your
And
community being the South African populace, or
I'm
who are you
talking
talking about when you say your community?
I'm talking about the Cape Flats where I reside, sir, where the war's on. There's never enough haste. Last night, I haven't checked the figures. I can tell you now, last night, 7 to 12 people died on the Cape Flats. There's never enough haste. So I understand your point, and I concede your point, that it might seem like it was in a hurry, but I try to get things done immediately. So I do concede, I consider what you're saying, and if I was sitting there talking to you, I might hold the same view. But if you see the view from where I'm standing, there's never enough haste. If I could have left on the same day, I would have.
Earlier you mentioned the airport in response to one of the questions by Ms. Seegers. Did I hear you correctly? I think you did mention the airport.
I mentioned receiving the contact at the airport. Yeah.
Airport. Was that the same day you went to Orlando Police Station?
Yes, Chairperson.
Did you go to Orlando Police Station right from the airport, or did you first go somewhere else?
I think I might have stopped for a coffee because it was an early flight.
But you were bound, you were Orlando bound.
Yes, sir.
After landing, then your next stop, except for the
Yes,
coffee, was Orlando Police
Yes,
Station.
Chairperson.
Kempton Park, I'm sure it does have a police station, and the airport is right next door to Kempton Park.
Never been to Kempton Park, Chairperson.
No,
Never.
no, but do you agree that it's right next door to?
Well, now that you tell me, I mean, if I'm a Cape Townian boy, Chairperson,
It is.
I can tell you now the areas I know in Johannesburg, the areas I know, and I couldn't find it myself right now. Is Elvis?
Let's not lengthen it, please. Let us not. You accept that OR Tambo International, is that where you landed? OR Tambo
Yes, sir.
International? Yes. Do you accept that Kempton Park is right next door to Kempton Park?
I can't argue with that, Chairperson.
It is, it's a fact, it's a fact. And there is a police station in Kempton Park, right next door to OR Tambo. And it would have been a matter of relative ease for you to establish, if for whatever reason you felt like leaving Cape Town and coming all the way to Johannesburg, more than 2 hours or about 2 hours on a flight to come lay your charges in Johannesburg. It would have been a matter of relative ease for you to just do some homework. Once I've landed, where's the nearest police station I can go to? Instead of just saying, oh, by the way, I happen to know that there is a police station somewhere that I once went to, regardless of how far it is from the airport. It would have been a matter of relative ease for you to establish what's the nearest police station from the airport, was it not?
Yes, Chairperson.
It was. And
Yes.
you never engaged in that exercise.
Excuse me,
You never engaged in that exercise, you just chose to go all the way to the southern part of Johannesburg.
Chairperson.
Which Soweto is, which Orlando, which is in Soweto, is. Southern part. I won't say it's the furthest part of Johannesburg, but it's close to being one of the furthest parts of Johannesburg. That's your choice, instead of going to a police station right next door to OR Tambo International. That's what you chose,
Yes, Chairperson.
instead of the relatively easy thing of finding out where's the nearest police station. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Adams, I'm now going to play 2 recordings from that meeting of the consultation of 6 January 2025. The first is the introduction. It's a short clip. And then the second is where there's a detailed discussion about you laying the charges. And once we've done playing the introduction part, I will explain to you why there are two reasons that I'm playing the introduction.